Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome to our 13th session of this series on the 16 guidelines. Today's topic is aspiration. You may have heard of this word used in Buddhism already in terms of motivation or in intention, setting your intention. It's a little bit different how we talk about in the 16 guidelines because we don't, it doesn't necessarily have to be, a motivation to become enlightened or a motivation to liberate all sentient beings. It can be, just about attaining happiness in your day-to-day life. A little more peace, a little more happiness. So, yeah, we're going to explore and meditate on this topic. Before we do, let's take about 10 minutes just to bring ourselves into the space, to settle our minds, relax our bodies, and set a motivation. Not sure if the mic is not working. Give me a second. So, yeah, we're just going to settle our bodies first into whatever your comfortable meditation posture is. Usually we'd be sitting on the ground, but you can sit on a chair as well if that's more comfortable for you. Just make sure your feet are on the floor, flat on the floor if you're on a chair. And if you're sitting on a cushion, you can bring your hips up to the front of the cushion so that your hips and your spine naturally raise up and your knees fall down below the hips. And making sure to straighten your spine, lift up your head a little more, elongating the neck, stretching out your spine, and then allowing all the muscles around the spine to relax, your shoulders to relax. Your chest is open, and your hands are resting on your lap or on your knees. Just take a moment to sit up a little straighter and relax a little more. So it's both at the same time. You can tilt your head downwards about halfway, and your gaze is about 2 meters on the floor in front of you, with your eyes half closed, just cracked open to let a little light in and stay connected to the world around you. But if that feels distracting, you can keep your eyes gently shut as well. Your tongue is touching the upper part of the mouth, and your jaw is relaxed. And all the tension held between your eyebrows, around your face, in the cheekbones, allow it all to relax. So now we do a gentle body scan, allowing our mind to come into the body, allowing the body to relax. We start from the top, from the crown of our heads, noticing the space just on top of your head, where usually they say the seventh chakra is. It might help to imagine a small circular disc above your head, just resting on top of your head. And bringing relaxation to that part. Relaxing the top of the head. And gently moving down the left side of your head towards the ear and the back of the head. Allowing the whole left side of the head to relax. And the same with the right side. Take your time. Allow relaxation to flow over the forehead, the muscles of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the rest of the face, your lips, your jaw. Relax your tongue inside the mouth, your chin, and you can match this relaxation with the flow of your breath. On the in-breath, bringing more focus to the points of your body, the skin cells, the small hairs. And on the out-breath, allowing it to relax, to let go of any tension it's holding. Bringing your awareness now to the back of your neck. And the front of the neck, the throat. If you notice areas of tension, allow it to let go on the out-breath. And if it doesn't, that's also fine. There's no need to fight with it. Just notice it. Feel your entire head and neck completely relaxed. And now moving down to the shoulder, the left shoulder, moving down your left arm to the elbow, the wrist, to the tips of your fingers. On the in-breath, focusing your attention, and on the out-breath, releasing tension. Take a moment to notice if your left arm feels any different from your right arm, and in what ways. Now we move to the right arm, starting from the shoulder to the elbow, through your wrist, through your hand, to the tips of your finger. Allowing the skin to relax, your muscles to relax, the bones to relax. Your joints. Inviting relaxation into your body. And now we move to the spine, starting from the top, from the base of your neck, moving all the way down your spine. First, the left part of your back, the upper part, and then the lower part. And then the right side. If you can, focusing on each bone of your spine, from top to bottom, and allowing the bones and the space between the bones to relax. And then all the back muscles around the bones, all the way to the lower back. And then moving to your chest, your diaphragm, your abdomen, all the internal organs near the abdomen, the organs in your belly. Relaxing all the way down to your hips. Moving down into the left leg, through the thigh, through your knee, through the calf, to the sole of your foot, your ankle, your heel, and your toes. Moving gently through the entire leg. Allowing yourself to be present to and to enjoy this process of relaxation. Take a moment to notice if your left leg at this point feels different from your right leg. Just observing the different sensations. And now starting from the top of your right leg, moving down your right leg all the way to your toes. Take a moment to be present to your entire body, the stillness, the movement, the relaxation. there are any areas that returned into tension, allow it to relax. Or if there are areas which were not able to relax, just noticing those and staying present to it. Just being present to the sensations in your body and allowing your out breath to take away any other tensions or tightness. Now that your mind and body feels a little more settled, take a moment to ask yourself why you're here for this session. Is what brought you here your own benefit, for your own gain? Or are you here for others' benefit as well? And if there are others, how many others are there? How would it feel to say that I am here today for the benefit of all sentient beings, all living beings? Noticing my interdependence on all other beings. How would it feel to say that I would like this session to be meaningful and beneficial, to bring lasting happiness for myself and others? Allow this intention to sink into your mind and your body. Allow it to flow to all parts of your body and all parts of your mind. And then slowly allowing yourself to relax your posture and gently open your eyes and return to the space around you. So you're welcome to take a moment to stretch if you want. At the center, there's some water and tea in the back if you would like. So we are going to be moving into a practice in a little bit on aspiration. What we just did at the end of this meditation was what in Buddhism we call a motivation. So aspiration is similar to that, but a little different. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's more just to guide our day-to-day lives, our human lives. It doesn't necessarily have to be, directed at the Buddhist path or your practice. So while we are in this relaxed mode, I'm just going to read out a passage on aspiration and just see how it lands for you. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed and just see how these words land, what comes up for you. In the quiet chambers of our hearts, there exists a profound longing, a yearning that transcends the boundaries of the mundane. It is the very essence of aspiration, the deep-rooted desire for purpose and fulfillment in our lives. This innate drive in every human being fuels our journey towards becoming better and more compassionate individuals. It is a call to seek a life of meaning where our actions are not driven by selfish desires, but by a genuine commitment to make the world a better place. It is a call to action, and the way we choose to respond to that call will determine all the other choices we make in our lives. So, how many of you are already familiar with the concept of aspiration and motivation in Buddhism? And if you are, can anyone tell me briefly what your understanding is? Why do we set a motivation? And on Zoom, you're welcome to unmute yourself and speak. Don't be shy. Yeah, please.
I think a layman's version would be wanting to do something, to aspire. It could be for something in a physical sense, to achieve something material. But in a more less temporal sense, for achieving salvation, for achieving a higher goal internally. So there's a duality in the material sense as well as internally wanting to achieve something. And then within the internal aspiration, you could also, as we said in the opening dedication, aspire for joy for all sentient beings. So it may not be for yourself, it may be for others as well.
Yeah. So someone at the center is saying there are many forms of aspiration. Maybe it's material, maybe it's beyond spatial and temporal bounds. But it's basically a way to set a kind of goal for oneself, right? So in Buddhism, how it's described is like, and this is where the similarity is between an aspiration in any sense. It's like, let's say I want apples. I want to have apples in my life. Let's say there are no supermarkets around where I can just go and buy it. Even if there is, this aspiration also applies to that because I need an intention to go out and buy it. But let's say I'm in a farmland somewhere and I want apples. Now I have to go and plant an apple seed first. Then I have to water it. I need sunlight, I need soil, I need to wait for it to grow into an apple tree, and only then am I going to get apples. I can't just manifest the apple, right? So that intention, that aspiration to have apples is what drives me to go through the process to get the apples. There isn't just a thought and spontaneously what we want happens or emerges. I want to be enlightened, and boom, we are enlightened. There's an entire path to get to where we want or what we want. And the stronger our aspiration is, the clearer that path is. The stronger my aspiration is and my desire is to want apples, the more likely it is that I will go and plant that seed and water it every day and not forget about it, and be patient and wait for it to grow and then finally receive my apples. So there's that element there as well. Yeah, so what we say in Buddhism is that it's like a light that directs you somewhere. It's like setting your compass. And without that, the thing will not happen. If I don't want apples to begin with, or I don't even know what apples are, there's no way I will get apples, because there's no apple tree. There's not going to be an apple seed being planted. So that's the importance of having an intention and an aspiration. And what the 16 guidelines is saying, the way that they are using this word aspiration, is that this is something that is naturally in each human being already. It's naturally inside each of us, this instinct. And you can have bad intentions as well. So what the 16 guidelines, the way they're using this word, is that there's a natural instinct towards happiness, towards doing things for our own benefit and for others' benefit, and towards having a more fulfilling and a happy and a peaceful life. So that is a natural instinct that we have. And that's something we can debate. But if you think about it, even somebody like Trump or Putin, might be a little difficult to imagine them having positive aspirations naturally, but these can be very buried deep down. They say our Buddha nature is also it might be buried deep down, but it doesn't mean it's not there. The faith and the belief is that it is in every single sentient being. And I think if we think about it, if a child were running out into the middle of the road in traffic, even if it were a Trump or a Putin, I think even their natural instinct would be to run out into the street and grab that child. I think they would have that urge. You are welcome to disagree with me. I will open it up to discussion in a few minutes. So yeah, you don't have to agree, but I think that is the case. And I think we can really think about how it's a part of each of us, where that seed is. And then once we can locate it, that natural instinct in us, then we can learn to cultivate it and make it stronger and stronger. So you can also see, I think, in those around us, it usually seems like the happiest people around us are actually people who have found a way to put their aspirations to practice in their everyday life, who have very strong aspirations. Again, aspiration meaning is implying in a positive sense that positive instinct we have, not one of wanting samsaric pleasures or desires that overshadows this aspirational instinct we have. Yeah, so people around us we can look at who have really made a meaningful existence for us, for themselves and for other people around them, through their very strong and open-minded aspirations, which encompass maybe many, many beings. So if we are only focused on samsaric pursuits, then it becomes kind of like a salty water, like drinking salty water, and it leaves us still parched and thirsty for more and more and more. It's not satisfying, it's not fulfilling. But when we follow our aspirations, we find that it does quench that thirst. We find it is fulfilling. And we'll explore these thoughts more when we do the guided meditation. Yeah, but I just want to leave you with a few questions and then hear from participants, hear from you all, just any thoughts you have regarding aspirations. So there are 3 questions I want to ask. A is, how do we decide the direction of our aspirations? 2, do you believe aspirations are essential to life? And 3, are they essential to happiness? So how do we decide the directions of our aspirations? And are they essential to life? And are they essential to happiness? So does anyone have any thoughts they want to share about it? We really encourage discussion with the 16 guidelines, because these are not like direct teachings from the Buddha. These are kind of guidelines that I think a 7th or 8th century Tibetan king formed in order to guide and discipline his country better. And we have kind of adapted that into guidelines for a happy life. So it's really open to discussion, to your thoughts. Just encouraging people to speak. Anyone on Zoom would like to say anything? If not, we can move into the meditation on aspirations, that we can better familiarize ourselves with it. Yeah, okay. I will take that as a yes. So now can take a minute to just get ready and get back into your posture, get comfortable in your seat, grab some water if you would like. We never want to force ourselves in practice, otherwise it will create very bad and negative associations with our practice. So make sure you enter your practice very comfortably and at your own pace. So coming back into your comfortable posture with your spine straight, your shoulders relaxed. Starting with 3 deep breaths from your nostril all the way down into your abdomen and letting it go. Just to bring our minds to the present moment. What is an aspiration? And do all of us have aspirations? What role do our aspirations play as we move through life? And why does it seem that we move on from and forget our aspirations as we grow older? Is there anything we can do to reconnect with our aspirations? And can these aspirations help us find happiness? According to the 16 guidelines, aspiration is defined as the search for a fulfilling way of life, which avoids causing harm to others. It is the profound and heartfelt longing for fulfillment and happiness, which lies deep and sometimes buried in each one of us. When we're young, there may be a more obvious emphasis on aspiration, where we are encouraged to use our lives well and make the best of what we have. But as we get older, we're often conditioned out of these instincts, and we may be swept into the demands of daily life. Usually, we forget to even question whether these more short-term goals are going to bring us the meaning and happiness that we seek. Take a moment to remember any aspirations that you had as a child. Maybe you wanted to be an athlete or an astronaut or the president of your country, or you wanted to travel to new places, to work with animals or children. See if you remember any hopes and dreams you had about the future. Are you still following these dreams, or have they gotten left behind somewhere? What are the aspirations that guide you now? In stories and in literature, life is often compared to a journey. And every journey needs a goal, some reason that calls out to us to help us go that distance. In the traditional teachings, it said that we need three things, three elements to help us travel that distance through life to achieve our aspirations. The first thing is a guide, an inspiration who has already traveled that path. Second is guidance and advice of how to reach our destination. Methods of following the path. And third is companions to support us along the way. Let's take a few moments to explore these three things and how we can incorporate them to achieve our own aspirations. Again, take a moment to bring your mind back to the body and feel the sensations as your breath goes in and out. And then bring to mind the definition of aspiration again, which is to seek a fulfilling way of life that avoids causing harm to others. Allow this to sink into your body. Allow yourself to feel what this means. To seek a fulfilling way of life that avoids causing harm to others. What might this mean or look like for you, considering your unique personality, your talents, your skills? Allow yourself to shape your own aspirations. First, consider who will be our guide along the way. It could be somebody you know personally or not. Somebody who has inspired you from a website or a book. Or it could be a historical or holy figure. It can be anyone who can give you the inspiration and the encouragement you need to lead a fulfilling way of life that avoids causing harm to others. This will be someone whose aspirations have gone far beyond yours in this path. Take a moment to think if there is such a guide in your life. And bring them as clearly to your mind as you can. And if there is no such person, what steps could you take to find someone? Now, moving your guide to the back of your mind, we come to the second step, which is to find all the different information and advice that we will need on our journeys. If you imagine you are traveling to some far off land, you would be asking yourself what to bring with you. You'll be wondering what challenges you'll face and what tools you'll need. So we need these same kind of support systems on our path for our aspirations. It can be things like words and music, or nature, movies. Might be certain practices you have, or special words or objects. These things should be reliable and practical, and kind and wise in order to help you. Do you have this kind of support system that can help you achieve your aspirations? And if not, what are the practical steps you can take to achieve them? Try to be honest with yourself so that your path ahead can become clearer and clearer. The third step is to consider who we want to take on this journey with us, our traveling companions. Generally, if we were to travel somewhere far away, it would be unwise to travel alone. So we need companions who can help us stay on the path, can share our experiences with us, and keep our spirits up. We should be able to recognize if we are choosing inappropriate companions who could discourage us or lead us astray from the path. Our companions, our ideal companions, should understand our aspirations and give us the inspiration and the support that we need. Can you bring to mind some of those companions that you want to take with you and keep close to you on your path to your aspirations? And if you can't think of companions, what are practical steps that you might take to find some? Take a moment to hold in your mind all of these things, the support system that you want to keep close to you on your path. Recognize that it's not just about the aspiration, but it's also about a clear aspiration and the right causes and conditions to achieve it. Otherwise, it's basically the same as not having any aspiration at all. The Irish blessing says that may the road rise up to meet you, and may the wind always be at your back, and may the sun shine gently on your face. Every single human being has the potential to lead a fulfilling way of life that avoids causing harm to others. Every human has the potential for strong and clear aspirations. And it's up to us to cultivate them. May your aspirations enrich your life and the lives of those around you. Taking a moment to seal your practice in whatever way feels good for you. And you can even practice just writing these things down, whatever came up for you in this practice. Just to put it in some solid, concrete form before it starts floating away from us again. And I'll just give people an opportunity to say or share anything if they wish before we close. Do you mind using this so people can hear you? Yeah, you can just, it's on. Yeah.
So I felt when you first raised those three questions, I had some answers in my head. Maybe quite superficial, but I had some answers in my head. But during meditation, when you raise those additional questions, like who's your guide? What's the guidance? Who's the Sangha that you would want to take this journey with? Those were really complicated. I mean, I definitely have to go deeper into this to figure out answers to those questions. But the first three questions before the meditation, I felt they were easier. But the latter three questions, although they are more definitive, you can easily identify a person. You can easily identify the company you're going to keep to take the journey. But I felt they were tougher.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure many also might have experienced that. Yeah, and that's why I also suggested maybe writing, just jotting some notes after this practice, because there can be so many different paths also. There are so many different things we've tried already in our lives, and many that we still will try. Yeah, there are infinite number of paths. There's no one right path towards our aspiration. So it might be helpful to write a little bit when you have time on your own. Yeah, and again, like I said in the beginning also, I think the most important part is the clarity and the clarity of our aspiration of what is our goal we want to achieve, or many goals maybe. And so writing can also help with that, bringing clarity to that. Did you want to say something else? Yeah, any comments on Zoom before I close? Okay, so we can just briefly dedicate, this practice that we've done and this awareness we're just beginning to cultivate around setting our compasses in our life, or resetting and resetting and resetting them. And we can dedicate that all sentient beings they have the opportunity to cultivate their aspirations, the aspirational instinct, especially those leading our countries. May they aspire to not cause harm, to not cause hatred, to relieve suffering. May beings learn to think about really critically if our actions are really helping us achieve happiness? Or is it just causing us and others more suffering? And when we can learn to do that, it will open up a doorway towards cultivating better and clearer aspirations in life, and also following them more easily. We dedicate whatever positive energy was cultivated here today by our practice towards the benefit of all beings. May they not be sick or hungry. May disease be eliminated. May everyone have food to eat and a roof over their heads. May those stuck in war conflicts be safe. May all wars end. May the Buddha's teachings spread, continue to spread and spread. And even if they disappear, may the Buddha return and turn the wheel of Dharma again and again and again until samsara is completely emptied of sentient beings. And may we also aspire on that path to benefit beings and to stay in this world until samsara is empty. You can dedicate to anyone in your life who is sick or unwell or has recently passed. Also dedicating to the long lives of our teachers, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama. May they live long and healthy lives, and may all their holy wishes be fulfilled. Thank you for joining this week. And for next week, we actually have some very wonderful teachers coming to Tushita.